What's going on, everybody? This is MasterGuil. Welcome back to more Adastra. In the last episode, looks like Cato has just found out about Marco and Amicus' true relationship. Found out that Amicus had made first contact, which in their universe is a big no-no, and he planned on having to stage the third trial to make it look like that Cassius has won the third trial by being the ever-living snot out of Amicus. Well, not the living snot, but like renting him to the point that he couldn't fight back and make it look like that they fought in Pugnu and Cassius won, thus giving him the title to be emperor. That didn't go out as planned, and a whole bunch of stuff that went down, and it was just a real nightmare. And Cassius is now the emperor. Amicus is thrown in the dungeon. Cato's just walking around doing whatever the hell he pleases, and Marco himself is not allowed to leave the palace unless he dies. He gets executed on the spot. And I guess right now, under the deal that Amicus and Neferu have made, Marco was now Neferu's pet and a Chemian citizen. And should anything happen to Marco, that would damage things severely. And now we had just witnessed Cato just beat the living crap out of Neferu, and they planned on hopefully to use it as blackmail against Cato and Cassius. They had Cassius concede the throne so Amicus can be the rightful emperor, and so now we should be walking with Virginia to see Cassius because Cassius wants to speak with Marco privately, which screams a whole lot of red flags. So yeah, and 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 I keep saying this from the previous episodes. Why are we just letting Alex doing whatever he wants? This dude is a spy. He is a spy. Do not. Why are we trusting this cat? So I rattled on for long enough. Let's get right into this. We walk in silence, the only sound being the birds and the swishing of our robes as we make our way through the halls. I'm not sure exactly where we're going, but after a while, I realize it must be to the throne room. I stare at the back of the she-wolf's head, contemplating a few things. Regina is the person I know the least about in this palace, which probably means she's doing the best job at playing this little game. I want to ask her a lot of things, but I'm worried about overstepping boundaries, something that seems rather easy to do with her. As we get closer to that door, I can't help myself from asking at least one question. So, do you care that Amicus is in the dungeons? Like, you want to get him out not just because you want to be his advisor, right? Immediately, I see the wolf's ears flip back in hopefully mild annoyance and not extreme anger. Her voice is steady when she answers me, though. First of all, it's not any of your business what my motivations are, Marco. Virginia doesn't follow that up immediately, so we're left in the awkward silence as we walk in the last 10 feet to the throne room door. That, hmm, her response. Maybe it's not none of our business, but it still could be useful information. But perhaps if we were to try to pry some information out of her, we need to be a little try some different routes and be more tactful. Because of course the women are extremely smart. So, see, I sound like a feminist when I say that, but that's another can of worms. But uh, geez, as things are now, like I see you're being very defensive and selective with her answer, and so we're not going to get like a straight one right off the bat. So I could kind of justify her stance here, even though it's not much to go off of. She pauses there and finally looks at me, her eyes narrow. But Amicus is my brother, and for that alone, I love him. And though he's a complete dullard, he's one of the few to be genuinely kind to me in this palace. He is a good wolf. Virginia turns away, raising a paw to hover over the black panel. But you already know that. With that, she presses the panel and the door slides open. I immediately spot Cassius at the other end of the cavernous. I could never pronounce that right. Wow. Cavernous room, looking a bit small and insignificant on an extravagant throne. Probably not the best impression for the Emperor of Adastra to make. As I'm thinking this, we begin to make our way toward him. A drone hovers in front of the White Wolf, holding up a screen under his face. He's not looking at it, though, instead narrowing his eyes at the two of us as Virginia escorts me to the base of the steps. Here he is, brother. Cassius shifts around in his seat, and for a moment I think I catch a sight of sort of booster seat under his rear. A booster seat? Oh, how tall is he? He can't be that short, bro. Thank you, Virginia. You can leave us be now. Virginia hesitates, clasping her paws together in front of herself. Brother, I would feel more comfortable if I were allowed to stay. I'd rather not leave you alone with an unprofiled alien. Cassius snorts, waving his paw dismissively. I've interacted with it many times before. I would be fine. If not, then the drones would take care of him. Cassius makes eye contact with me as he says that last part, clearly meaning for me to take it as a warning or a threat. Virginia hesitates again, and Cassius's eyes drift toward her in question. That's when the she-wolf bows deeply before turning away. As she passes me, she gives me her own look, not unlike Neferu's. Be careful. I continue to face Cassius as I listen to Virginia's soft footsteps recede behind me, then I hear the door open and close. I keep my eyes low on Cassius's feet, although I can tell he's looking directly at me. The silence drags on. I wonder if the White Wolf is using Cato's technique of using silence to intimidate. Finally, though, he clears his throat loudly, almost making me jump. First, I want to say that you may speak freely here. I only want the truth. I look up at him and then see he's not looking at me anymore. Instead, it's to the side, as if he's lost in thought. I'm confused at how all this could have happened. So know that if you speak the truth, you'll be free from any consequences. Consequences? He's making it sound like I've committed some sort of serious crime or conspiracy. I mean, maybe I've been a part of some, but it's definitely not my fault. What do you want to know? Cassius' eyes flick to mine then, as I see mild surprise there. He's still probably not used to an alien like me speaking directly to him in full sentences. He pauses again before resting his chin on a paw, clearly trying to look casual. Who exactly are you? I raise an eyebrow. Marco, you already know this. I know your name, but I want to know more beyond that. What is it that you're doing here? How did my brother find you? Immediately, our conversation reaches a point where I find myself unsure of what to say. How much can I say? Obviously, I can't trust him at all. I know that. But I also know that he's in complete control over what happens to Amicus, and there may be a few things I have to give up to keep my wolf safe. So, I square my shoulders and look at Cassius in the eye. I want to know that Amicus is okay first, and I want to see him. Immediately, Cassius' demeanor changes from sour suspicion to sour fury. Excuse me? You aren't the one to make demands here. I am the Emperor, and you will answer my questions. I get the vague sensation of my balls drying up into my stomach as I realize how dangerous all of this is. My thoughts go to that physician, Felix, being sent to the dungeons without a second thought. But I know I have protections, and I have to trust him now if I'm going to make any sort of deal with Cassius. Yeah, but you're not my Emperor. I answer to the Pharaoh. I'm spitballing, but it seems to be working as I give Cassius pause. After a moment, it seems like he's able to collect himself. So I've heard, but remind yourself that you're on Adastra, therefore you are to abide by our laws and customs, and lying to the Emperor is punishable by death. And again, that feeling in my stomach. But I had to remind myself, rules don't matter here, it's all about playing their game. I know that Cassius would never have me executed or imprisoned while Neferu is here. That would be far too risky for the Empire as a whole. I can't be intimidated by empty threats, even if they threaten my life. If I want to help Amicus, I have to push the limits. At least, within reason. I also remind myself that I'm not completely untouchable, as Neferu's balls can attest to. I just want to see my former master. If you can guarantee me that, they'll tell you what happened. Another long pause as Cassius just glares at me, and he lets out a little huff. Fine. It's almost funny how he still acted like a child, despite now being the Emperor of Adastra. So I take a deep breath. I consider lying, of course, but what Amicus did was an honest mistake, at least in my opinion. Lying would probably only make things worse when the truth should be so understandable. So I start at the beginning, how Amicus came upon the records of my people in the archives, how he rushed my planet to find a willing pet, how everything suddenly went south when he found out far too late that we were now part of the Galaxias, and finally how he tried to keep it all a secret to keep the Empire safe. I emphasize the keeping the Empire safe part, even if it wasn't originally at the top of my priorities. I'm telling the truth, even if I'm stretching it a bit. Cassius listens to all of this with various reactions: contempt, surprise, anger, the contemplation. I'm struck by the contrast between him and Cato. While Cato keeps his emotions in check, aside from the occasional explosions of rage, Cassius wears it all on his sleeve. Not that different from Amicus in that way, even if his personality is. When Cassius still doesn't say anything, I sigh. It was an honest mistake. You've got to understand that. I've already noted it was a mistake. Even Amicus would not make first contact on purpose. I just wonder what sort of stupidity caused it. He had no reason to think that we were uncontacted. We were recorded in the library or whatever. Cassius suddenly shifts on his throne. What are you? Species and planet name? His last sentence has the inflection of an expectant demand. Now I'm left to stand in silence. No freaking way am I telling this brat where I'm from. Cassius must see this on my face immediately, because his fur once again puffs out in anger. Do you want to see Amicus or not? I need to know this to verify that what you're saying is truthful. Is that really why? I know what you wolves do to other aliens. Why would I give away my people like that? Cassius puffs himself up even bigger, and I wonder if he's going to start screaming at me, then he suddenly just deflates. The problem here is first contact, yes? So why would I go out and find and do whatever you think it is that I do to your people? I have no interest in furthering the problem. I simply want to know. But why do you care? Cassius snaps his eyes back up to mine. Believe it or not, Marco, I'm trying to help Amicus. Do you not know the consequences of such a crime? He could be executed for this. Now my heart does a backflip. What? Why? Because it is a sacred rule created by the parents. Disobeying them risks our entire empire to abandonment. But you're the emperor. If you want them kept alive, can't you just do that? I feel myself starting to panic a little. I thought that maybe Amicus would be kept in the dungeons for a while, but never thought that he could be at risk of being executed. If it were only that I knew of this, maybe. But there are others that know of this crime, and they expect me to terminate all evidence of the first contact. Cassius stares at me, and I realize part of that evidence is, of course, me. Are you talking about Cato? He's just your advisor, right? You can ignore him. This time Cassius doesn't respond, looking away again. If I can make the case that this was truly an honest mistake, then maybe I have a chance of convincing these others. Better yet, convince them that this wasn't first contact at all. Are you even sure your people are completely unaware of the Cassius? I start to say that I am pretty sure, but he's looking at me in a strange way. Our governments are pretty secretive. They might know something. So it's possible that a crime wasn't committed at all. Simply a misunderstanding, and knowing where you came from can help us determine that. I'm a bit caught off guard by all this. I guess I just expect Cassius to let Amicus rot in the dungeons while he enjoyed his emperorship. But I'm a reminder of what Virginia had said earlier, that although they might stab each other in the back, they're still siblings. Didn't you once say that you don't care about the parents? Wouldn't it be part of your plan for them to abandon the Empire? Cassius sighs deeply. I said many things, but I found that once you become emperor, your perspective on things change. Like, how much you need the parents? Cassius glares at me, so I just go on. How would they find out anyway? Amicus said something about monitors? Obviously we could just talk about it on the open without anything happening. I look around, as if expecting the monitor to poke its head out from behind one of the pillars. I'm sorry, I'm funny at that cliche. I don't know, but what I do know is that the fewer who know, the better. What even is a monitor? Cassius shrugs. Again, I don't know. None have appeared in living memory, but that does not mean we should not be cautious. The risk is far too great. I really don't understand this. I feel like if the parents are all powerful and all knowing as these aliens make them out to be, then they probably already know I'm here. Before I can bring this up to Cassius, though. So what are you, and where are you from? I think. He's right that it wouldn't make sense for the wolves to go after Earth. It is technically the last thing that the Empire would want, especially with Cassius Emperor considering his his isolation. Oh my god. My brain. My brain and my mouth do not want to cooperate. His isolationist views. But most importantly, it could have Amicus. I take a deep breath. And if I tell you, will you let me see Amicus? Yes. I don't like only being able to go on his word, but for some reason I feel like he's being sincere. I'm a human from the planet Earth. Human. Earth. Cassius mumbles the words, the lingua cutting off and allowing me to hear the wolf's accented voice unfiltered. He pulls the floating drone at his side toward himself, tapping at the screen a few times, probably making notes. It feels incredibly wrong at that moment, like I betrayed all humans somehow, but again, I can't see why it will put Earth in danger. On top of that, I'm also counting on Amicus becoming Emperor eventually, and I know he'd never do anything to my planet. I'm playing the game. Cassius stares at the screen a while, and I shift around on my feet. So, can I go see him now? He snaps his gaze up to mine. Yes, now is best. Cato should not be back for a few more hours, but I can only give you 20 minutes, just to be safe. Cato? What about him? What do you mean, what about him? I want to ask Cassius why it sounds like Cato is in charge, and not he himself, but I know not to press those buttons right now. Never mind, so can I see him regularly? Cassius sighs loudly again, standing up. It is not often, and you come to me first, and if Cato is away. Yep, definitely not fully in charge. Cato's clearly got some control over Cassius. Either way, I'm too happy at the thought of being able to see Amicus semi-regularly to care at the moment. Anyway, come, escort Marco to the dungeons to visit Amicus for 20 minutes. That's when I remember I have other questions. Wait, do you have contact with the parents now? Cassius looks at me strangely. Yes, we made contact after I became Emperor. It was expected. Oh, that's good. Indeed. Though we had to implement the traditional technique. It's a bit archaic, but highly effective. Oh, so do you have the stretch drive again? Cassius looks at me suspiciously. Hey, I need to get home eventually, and you'd be getting rid of the problem if you got me there. Well, no, not yet, but I've only spoken with them a few times. I'll be meditating on that today. I'll keep you updated when we discuss things in the future. You want to talk to me again? Yes. Cassius stalks off while a drone circles around me, telling me to follow it. I think about apologizing there for the whole Nerval incident. Excuse me. But then I realized if he's not going to mention it, then maybe I shouldn't either. I realized then how strange the whole exchange has been. Cassius has seemed like a whole different person, but I guess now he thinks of me more as an equal, at least in terms of intelligence. It makes him almost tolerable. I'm led to a part of the palace that I've never been to before. We go through a small door into a room that has a small pit in it. A ladder leads down into this pit, a pit that I can only imagine leads to the dungeons. The hole is dark, and as I pause, I can feel the drone hovering behind me. Please proceed down the ladder, Marco. I get a prickling sensation on the back of my neck, and I wonder for a moment if this is some sort of trap. I mean, of course it feels like a trap. I have a creepy AI nudging me toward the pit of darkness, all set up by Cassius. Despite the feeling, I force myself downward, shakingly lowering myself down to the ladder, several times feeling as if I'm going to slip and fall. I have no idea how deep this thing goes, but as I start to think it might be a significant drop, my foot hits solid ground. Yo, why does this look like the home of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Does it not? To my surprise, I get exactly what I have been expecting. It's what it looks like. Well, a straight-up dungeon. Dim, yellow lighting is cast across the stone walls and floor. The air musty and stale. The hall is quiet. The air is cold and fleeting. I'm glad that Amicus has at least that. As I'm thinking this, I hear movement up ahead. Shuffling footsteps and shadows being cast on the walls of the hallway in front of me. I take a few steps forward, but Khan buzzes behind me. Remain close to the ladder, please. I stop and wait impatiently, wondering if what's up ahead is indeed Amicus. Again, I get that creepy feeling that I've been betrayed somehow. That what's up ahead is some sort of monster Cassius decided to feed me to. Instead, though, what turns the corner is Amicus. For a moment, my wolf stands there at the other end of the hall, staring at me. Then, before I know it, he's running at me. And this is how we die. Rest in peace, Marco. I tried to move forward, but Calm tells me to stay put once again, more firmly this time, so I force myself to wait. Watch as my wolf sprints at me. As he gets closer, I open my arms, and the next thing I know, oh, that's a typo. I'm caught up in a mass of fur, warmth, and tears. Marco! I'm spun around in a circle, my face pressed hard against the wolf's neck before I'm set down again. Amicus doesn't let me go, though, clutching me tightly to his body. He sounded happy at first, but now I feel him gasp and shake. Amicus? I pull back as much and he'll I pull back as much as he'll let me so I can see his face. I see then that he's crying, not even trying to hide it as he looks down at me with reddened eyes. He looks okay for the most part. His fur is a bit disheveled, and maybe he's a little thinner, but otherwise he looks healthy. The most noticeable change is actually his smell, a hint of musk without any scent of lavender. Amicus is looking at me just as closely, and one of his paws comes out to brush a thumb pad across my cheek. It's then that I realize that I'm crying too, so I press my face against his chest and we stay like that for a while. After about 10 minutes, wow, you wasted 10 minutes? Bro. My breathing is under control and the wolf's grip on me loosens, though he doesn't let go. Finally, Amicus is the first to speak. Marco, I'm so sorry. What are you still doing here? You're a Chemian. You need to go to Nephru and tell him that you want to be taken home. Or at least to Chemia. His voice breaks. You need to get off Adastra. It is not safe for you here. At the very least, have Virginia help smuggle you for the palace. You could... I reach up a hand to press against his muzzle, both to stop her from telling me to do things I won't be doing, and also because I feel like Calm is recording this, even if Cassius doesn't mean to monitor us. Amicus pauses in surprise as I clasp his muzzle shut. Then I see his eyes well up again as he reaches up to cup my hand and press his face into it, closing his eyes. I'm fine. I'm here to help you. I chose my words carefully. I'm going to help you, and I'm not leaving until I do. Marco, I'm not leaving. Please. This time I bring my other hand up to his mouth. I'm safe. Never is keeping me safe. Nothing can be done to me. I'm a Chemia now. 10 minutes remaining, Marco. Already? Suddenly, I'm pressed up against the wolf's chest again as Amicus hugs me tightly. I'm such a damn fool. I never think of others. I've ruined your life, and for what? No. I press back again. I know that I can leave with Nephru's help, but I'm choosing not to. Amicus opens his mouth to say more, but I cut in before he can. I want to be here, and I'm about to say take down Cato, but I cut myself off. Help you. Even Cassius wants to. I'm going to get you out of here no matter what. More tears start to well up, so I hug him and we stay like that for a while. I wish I thought of things to say. I'm sure there are things I could have brought up that might have helped me, or Amicus, but my mind is blank, as all I want to do is hold my wolf. Please, just don't involve yourself too much. Keep yourself safe. Being a Chemia doesn't guarantee all that you... Oh my god. Being a Chemia doesn't guarantee all that if you meddle. I can hear Amicus starting to choose his own words carefully. Yeah, Cato's already shown me that. Amicus jerks back, looking at me. Did he do something to you? Not me. Nephru. What happened? Nephru was kind of being forward, and he got kicked in the nuts. What? Yeah, but he's the Pharaoh's son. Yeah. So I know I need to be especially careful. The look of shock on Amicus' face slowly changes to one of slight amusement. Well, that's something I can't imagine. It was definitely something. I'm glad to see Amicus smiling at least a little. 1 minute. I feel a flash of annoyance at the AI before Amicus is hugging me tightly again. I'm going to be careful. I'm just going to help everyone figure out how best to clear your name. I love you so much. I love you too. Time limit has been reached. Please proceed to the ladder, Marco. Please proceed to your cell, Amicus. Amicus embraced us and loosened it, and instead, he lowers his head to kiss me. I kiss back. Please untangle your limbs and oral cavities and proceed to your respective directives. That's not funny. That's not funny. I'm sorry. That was just a mix of amusement and annoyance mixed into one from the laugh I just did. I'm sorry. Amicus huffs in annoyance before drawing back. And I'll be back. I didn't mean to sound like that. I just need to ask Cassius for the right times. Alright. There's much more I want to say to you, so please, return soon if you possibly can. Of course, as soon as I can. Emma gives me a small smile, and though I see tears in his eyes, they don't overflow this time. The journey back to Nephrim's room is where it all hits me at once, and I have to constantly wipe my eyes in case someone like Alex, Nephrim, or Cato comes around the corner and sees me. I already desperately miss Amicus, and now that I just left him, I'm reminded how alone I feel now that he's not always by my side. I'm sorry, I'm just rolling my eyes like, dude. I already said all that I've said in the previous videos. How I feel about this. We shouldn't be this close. It's nice. Oh, voice crack. It's nice. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Do not get me wrong. And it's good to always have good relationships with people if you're on a foreign planet, especially if it means getting their help to get home faster. But you shouldn't be that close if you know that you're going home. And if it means that you're never going to see them again. Sure, it's going to be bittersweet. And sure, it's going to be sad. I understand that. I don't want to sound like that I'm heartless or insensitive or anything like that. But their top priority should always be getting home. And this is your survival we're talking about. Again, this is wholesome. This is beautiful. It's nice that Marco has this relationship with Amicus, considering how things were pretty damn hostile in the beginning. But it's just going to hurt a lot more. And now that they're really entangled like this, it's just going to prove my point just as effectively in the long run. I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense, and this is very debatable and arguable. This is just my opinion on this. Next time I visit, I'll bring a bunch of stuff to say, do, and eat. I can't imagine the dungeon food is any good. Maybe we can find more privacy next time, and we'll be able to plan things out, maybe pass information on to him somehow. The thought of this makes me feel a little bit better, and my eyes are mostly dry as I'm near the Jackal's room. It's at that moment that I get a strange whiff of something in the air. Like mothballs? That's all that comes to mind. It's something that I've never smelled in the palace before, so I find myself pausing in the hallway, looking around. Nothing seems out of place. It's quiet and bright, as it usually is, but that's when I realize where I am. There's a door to my left, and I immediately know that's the meditation room. I remember then that Cassius mentioned that he wanted to meditate, to talk to the parents. Is he in there doing that right now? Is that smell part of it? I'm reminded of the night I first met Amicus, and that I smelled something like burning rubber in the air. This isn't that, but I have to wonder if maybe the parents emit this odd smell when they arrive. I stand there for a while, listening. I don't hear anything, but that smell continues, and I know now that it's definitely coming from that room. My eyes are squarely locked on the black panel. I want to open it, but I know I can't. If Cassius really is in the middle of talking to the parents, I could ruin everything. So I start to turn away, deciding that I'll ask Nephru what might be going on in there. But as I do, the door opens, and a cloud of billowy white smoke comes out. Okay, first of all, first of all, this look. Second of all, this animation. Third of all, you mean to tell me that this man was in there smoking weed? This man just came out stoned out of his mind. Look at him. Why is he looking like that? Oh, he's seeing some things, man. Oh, my eyes are watering. Oh my god, it is funny. Okay. Oh. Alright. Oh. Oh. Oh, my cheeks hurt from laughing. Okay, let me calm down. Oh god. Oh. I gasped and jumped back, seeing a figure standing in the doorway. It's Cassius, and he's hacking and coughing, gasping for breath. I can see that he's shaking too, and I'm about to back away when he locks eyes on me. His eyes are wide, bloodshot, and I can see what looks like vomit on his chest. His muzzle hangs open, as if trying to talk to me. He's hyperventilating though, and that's when I finally step forward. Cassius, are you okay? I have to walk into the cloud to get to him, and I'm enveloped in that chemical smell, immediately coughing out like yeah, that's Marco right there. Immediately coughing out the acrid smoke. Help me! Cassius reaches out to me, and I catch his paw. Immediately, he slumps against me, and I stumble under his significant weight. Nowhere near to that of Amicus, but he is a wolf after all. What happened? I tried to peer into the room, but it's so smoky. I see what looks like a little fire in the middle, though, a pot burning something inside. Did Cassius hotbox himself with something? Parents. Demons. I don't know what to do. At first, I start to try to pull Cassius along toward Nephra's room, but I immediately switch course, deciding that I definitely won't make it. Amicus's room is closer. I just hope that I can still get in there. I can't. Cassius whines and then suddenly lets out a retch. I try to ignore it, just kind of hoping that someone else will come around the corner to help me, even if it's Cato. As I'm thinking this, I realize that the hall seems to stretch further and further ahead of me. The light takes on an odd quality, strangely sharp and bright. And just like that, I instantly fall into what feels like a dream. Oh, he got contact high. Marco got contact high. Oh, God. Oh, God damn it. What were you smoking? Parents! Cassius speaks. I'm angry, not just because this dumb wolf got me high on who knows what, but because I'm realizing that this is what Cassius was referring to when he said the traditional technique of contact with the parents had worked. All he was doing was getting high on some DMT crap. Is this how it's always been? Are the whoops all the aliens just getting their crazy parent ideas from some drug? The hall continues to extend ahead of me. It's like I feel like I'm looping in time. Like time doesn't matter at all anymore. I can see why Cassius is panicking. I'm starting to myself. After what seems like an eternity, I manage to find Amicus's door. Shakily, I reach out and press the panel, the door sliding open. I can appreciate this is what we're looking at while, while we inhaled that smoke, that inhalant drug, apparently. We just got contact high. If this is what we see, this is what I'm going to see if or when I smoke weed, which I've never smoked, so I hope not, God. I practically throw Cassius on the bed. He seems to have stopped blubbering at this point. I collapse onto the sofa, my anger at the wolves and so-called parents dissipating from my mind as the high increases. I raise my hands in front of my face and immediately regret it as they start to stretch and bend. Quickly, I jerk them back to my chest, hugging myself, trying to keep my breathing under control. It feels like I'm sinking into a crater, like the ceiling is raising up above me, and that time won't start moving again. I gasp and clutch at the cushions, shutting my eyes, trying to calm myself down. You seem to be worried about something. Want a stress tablet to help you out? That voice. It sounds like calm. Kinda not. I... They help you chill. What? My confusion over Calm's voice melts away as mercifully darkness takes me. Oh, we've seen this before. I'm relieved to find myself back up in space. I float, content, calm, happy, even though I sense someone watching me, just behind me. Behind me. There is no behind me, because I don't have a body anymore. Another out-of-body experience. Instead, the feeling creeps just outside of my awareness. Whenever I try to focus on it, it slips away. So instead, I just let it go, floating in space, feeling almost nothing. And feeling nothing right now, after everything, feels good. But after a moment, I start to get vague, far-off feelings. Not my own feelings, but the feelings of others, and I pick them up like distant whispers. We've interfered far too much already. Nothing goes to plan with the wolves. It must be done. I'm only half listening, coasting on the waves of soothing, empty space. If this is how the drug makes you feel, I'm pretty into it. Oh no, don't do drugs, kids. The more we interfere, the harder it will be to predict anything. There is no other choice. The voice feelings cease at that point, and I continue to ripple on the waves of the universe. That's when I notice something appearing in the center of my infinite space. It's this thing again. I've seen this thing before, I think. Dreams that have fled my mind the moment I woke up suddenly come floating back. I focus on this being, this creature that's been following me since I was abducted. He looms there, staring at me, even though I'm everywhere at once. The silence goes on for a while. Or maybe not. I still don't have any sense of time. That is until the creature speaks. Marco. The voice is deep and masculine, rumbling through my being. I wait a moment, then try to acknowledge him, made difficult by the fact that I don't have a mouth to speak with. If you wish to communicate, then do so. I can hear you. What? I try to think the word without him, but it's slow and clumsy in my mind, and I just wish that I could talk. There's a rumble of amusement through the air. If you desire a body, simply will it to be. The loss of self is a disturbing feeling for you creatures, I know. What he's saying doesn't make all that much sense, but I try anyway, and just like that, I feel my being start to pull together. I start to materialize right in front of the creature, and I see my hands in front of myself again. When I look down, I see my body naked. As soon as I see that, I feel a shock of embarrassment, and my robe suddenly appears on my body. I still don't feel right, and I'm still not in this body that I see. Still, it does feel better, and I'm able to open my mouth. What is this? My mouth feels strange and rubbery, and at the same time it feels like cotton is coating the inside. This is... For the first time, the creature seems unsure of what he should say. Well, it's a bit complicated to explain, but it's simply a space where you and I... My finger. It keeps pressing on the left mouse button, just involuntarily at times, but it's simply a space where you and I might be able to communicate peacefully. That's not really an answer. No, but if I were to explain it in depth, it would waste the small amount of time we have together and confuse you even further. I try to stay focused, wanting to know as much about this guy as I can before the drug wears off. You're a parent? That rumbling laughter tickles at the edge of my existence again. No, definitely not. I am a monitor. Monitor? Icy fear trickles down my imagined spine as I realize what this is all might mean. The monitor quickly holds up a paw. No, don't worry. You're not in trouble. I watch him cautiously, as if only lulling me into a false sense of security before annihilating me on the spot. Again, that feeling of amusement. Now, that would be impossible to do here. I try to keep my thoughts focused. What about Amicus? Is he in trouble? No, he only did what we had planned for him to do. Planned? There's a pause, as if the monitor is gathering his thoughts. No, I am simply receiving instructions from the parents. I stare at him. They're talking to you? Yes, about you, and what I could do, and about what I can and cannot tell you. Why don't they just talk to me then? Because they cannot. Direct communication is impossible. Then how I was specifically designed to be a bridge between your, let's say, dimension and theirs. I don't really know what to think about that, but I get the feel that I shouldn't be distracted by these things right now. That would be wise. So, what do you mean, planned? The parents set Amicus up somehow? Your abduction and introduction to the Woven Empire was meant to happen. Why? Another slight pause. The wolves could single-handedly undo the Galaxias, but you can change that. I frowned, feeling some anxiety slip through the drug-induced calm. What? How? The wolves are a stubborn sibling, possibly a mistake made at the very beginning, but the parents can still see the correct path and destination. See? Can they see the future or something? In a way, yes. Their minds exist in many times at once. I'm starting to become lost, and suddenly I begin to feel like a primitive life form, incapable of understanding this ancient alien monolith before me. Do not feel that way. You yourself may not understand, but your species as a whole is more than capable. My mind automatically thinks back to how we were abandoned by wolves, by maybe even the jackals too. You were abandoned by all the siblings. For a single moment, multiple images of several different creatures crossed my mind. A bear, a wolf, a jackal, a lion, a ram. They're all recognizable, and what they wear is recognizable too, reminding me of several different cultures on Earth. Excuse me. The images finally stop on a tiger in a flowing dress with intricate designs and patterns, and what looks like a sari draped over her shoulder. As the image fades from my mind, somehow I know immediately that it's Mira. Yes, we reigned in the woods once before with the help of the Hindos. Ugh, I can't speak. But it lasted for a far shorter period of time than we'd foreseen. That's why we've turned to you to play her ancient role. But we're not part of the Galaxias. Everyone failed at uplifting us, so isn't something wrong with us? Another pause. In a way, yes, but after the attempts, all of the parents realized that humans were factored into the Galaxias later. Now. Aren't the parents competing with each other? This time I only get silence in response. I wonder if he's just been told that he can't tell me that. So, what am I supposed to do? What do you want with me? The answer this time is immediate. Restore Amicus to his rightful place on the throne. I wait, but there isn't any other explanation. And how do I do that? Silence. Why me? More silence. I blow out air in frustration, or try to, since nothing comes out. Why can't you all just tell me what to do? You brought me here, didn't you? Just tell me. Nothing. I'm about to just give up. Wait out the trip when the monitor begins speaking again. Interference often leads to destabilization of the events that should follow. The Galaxias must develop and learn in its own way. Except for now, right? This is interfering, isn't it? Except for in various instances where the children and siblings stray too far off course. This time, I'm the one left unsure of what to say. I've always seen the parents as all-knowing beings with only good intentions for their children. But now, how would I know they can even be trusted? What I do know is that the monitor is apparently able to hear all my thoughts, so he definitely heard that. Still, he doesn't say anything, just regarding me silently. So, I guess you can't tell me what the purpose of all this is then. The Galaxias as a whole? That knowledge has not been earned by the Sapiens yet. My mistrust grows. Well, can you give me something? Anything that might help me getting Amicus out of the dungeon? If I'm straying off the course, then tell me how to get back on it. The monitor pauses for a moment, as if getting more information from the parents. Watch the cats. See? As we keep saying right from the beginning, do not trust the cat. Do not trust Alexios. The cat. Alexios? I wait, but again I get silence. I shake my head. If the parents really are all-knowing and all-powerful, then why can't they just tell me we are neither of these things, hence why we must be so careful. I just stand there, unsure of what else to do. I look around. Is Cassius alright? The false emperor? Yes, he's somewhere around here. The monitor looks about dismissively. Did he hear us? No, he's too busy panicking. A side effect of being a coward imposter. I frown, feeling that's a bit harsh, even on someone like Cassius. Can you help him? Maybe bring him here? I get a feeling from the monitor that I can only describe as an annoyed sigh. I suppose. A few moments pass before I start to see something appear next to me. The unmistakable shape of Cassius materializes, frightened and shaking. He immediately sees me. Michael! Where are we? What's happened? Are you? He sees the monitor. Ah! He jumps behind me, shielding himself from the creature. The demon! Help me! I get that feeling of amusement from the dragon creature again, and I frown. Have you been scaring him? I get the feeling of a shrug from the creature. If he's scared, that's his choice. And the parents are okay with you doing that? Probably not, but the white wolf means little to them. What? That seemed to get Cassius' attention as he pokes his head around my side to glare at the monitor. Is that Cato talking, or is it supposed to be Cassius? What the... I want to assume this is Cassius talking. And this is just a typo. Excuse me, but I am the Emperor! No, you are not. I frown, the scene growing more and more surreal before me. Excuse me? Cassius seems unable to think of anything else to say. Just as I'm about to step between the two of them, I find myself unable to hold my consciousness together any longer, and I begin to drift off. Slowly, I come to on the sofa, my eyes cracking open as I wince at the throbbing headache I have. There's a cold sensation around my mouth, and I reach up to feel that I've been drooling all over myself. I roll over, feeling a wave of dizziness as I do. I pause there, waiting for the wooziness to pass. When it finally does, I'm able to focus better on my surroundings. I stare a full 10 seconds before I remember where I am, and what I'm doing here. I look up at the bed and see Cassius laying spread eagle on the covers, his eyes fluttering. I watch him for a while, realizing that he's still unconscious. He did take in a lot more of the drug than I had, so I guess it makes sense. Very slowly, I slide my legs off the sofa and sit there as a second dizzy spell overtakes me. I wait a solid minute for this one to pass, so that when I stand up, I don't end up just falling over. When I'm able to do that, I stumble to the bathroom, feeling more clear-headed by the second. When I get to the sink, I rest there, staring at myself in the mirror. My eyes are red, and my hair is messed up in every direction. I whip one of the towels and wash my face. By the time I finish, I feel mostly better. As I rest there against the sink, I think back on what just happened. Not the drug trip I've just been sent on, but what I've been told. All the dreams I've had since being on this moon. I remember everything. I don't know if it's real or not, if I really just spoken to the parents. It seemed too intricate to not be real. My mind won't be able to make up something like that, would it? Then again, I don't know what Cassius was smoking. As if on cue, the wolf snorts in the bedroom, and I make my way out of the bathroom, finding Cassius on his side now, facing away from me. Cassius? Slowly, I walk around the bed and see the wolf's eyes, just as red as mine, are open, staring off into space. I try again. Cassius? You okay? The wolf mumbles something, not even looking at me. I walk up to the side of the bed, reaching out tentatively before gently touching him on the arm. That seemed to jolt him from his daze as he jerks away, gasping in surprise and fear as he pulls back and looks up at me. I hold my hands up to show him that I mean no harm, and he stares at me for what feels like over a minute. Finally, he mumbles out my name. Marco. I nod slowly, not wanting to make any sudden movements. Yes, I'm Marco. You're in the palace, in Amicus' old room. I know where I am, idiot! Seems like he's returned to his old self. Well, that's good. He had a pretty bad reaction to whatever that was. Cassius is pushing himself up into a seating position, doing it slowly just like I had. He lets his head hang for a while, probably going through the same dizzy spells I just experienced. I wait patiently, deciding to move back over to the sofa while I do. His ears perk up as I sit down. He looks back up at me. What are you doing? I frown. What do you mean? I mean, why are you still here? You may leave. I guess I could. I just want to make sure you're okay first. He lets out a soft, indignant snort. You think I believe that? You're dismissed. I give him an incredulous look. Seriously? First of all, this is Amicus' room. Second, I'm a Chemian. I don't see you or a nephew around like that. This time Cassius lets out a loud snort. Ha! He's royalty. And an actual Chemian. Do you think I pay you the same? Chemians see all their citizens as equals. I'm worth just as much as he is in their eyes. Instead of snapping back, Cassius just lowers his head, eyes closed before he lets out a deep, forlorn sigh. I'm tired. If you wish to antagonize me, please leave it for another time. I've been pushing the boundaries with Cassius on purpose to see what the limits are, and I'm getting more comfortable conversing with him without fear. Still, I'm a bit taken aback at Cassius' sudden tone of defeat. It's one that I haven't heard often. We're, we're both silent for a minute. Then I finally speak up. Um, so what was that? That smoke stuff. It was a drug, right? Cassius is silent for a bit longer, and I wonder if he's going to ask me to leave again, but instead, he just sighs and finally looks up, his eyes looking a bit more clear now. It's called Somni, a plant from the southern region on this continent. It helps us connect to the parents. Yeah, you said it's the traditional way? The old way, yes. Usually we communicate through parental tech, but as you know, they're not currently speaking with us. What? They're currently not speaking with us with that method. So this forces it to happen? In a way. Does it work? Cassius glares at me. You would know. You were there. I go silent, that statement coming as a surprise to me. I've seen Cassius, of course, but I thought it had only been part of the hallucination. You saw me? Oh, please, Simeon, or whatever the hell you are. You're only trying to humiliate me further. I was right next to you. So that had been real? I sit back on my hands, contemplating all of this. I read about DMT experiences back on Earth, how if you break through, you can meet extra-dimensional beings that tell you the secrets of the universe. I would have considered my experiences to be all in my head, but Cassius was actually there. I noticed then that Cassius is looking very close at me, gauging my expression. What? He spoke to you, didn't he? What did he say? I tried to think of what to say. If this is real, then I doubt telling Cassius that everything will help me out in any way. He must see the hesitation on my face, because his fur bristles. The Emperor demands that you tell what they told you! I glance up at Cassius, feeling less and less afraid of him with every threat he sends my way. He really is all bark and no bite. He just sort of asked me what I was doing there. That's it. Cassius glares at me before finally seeming defeated once again, looking down. But he seemed okay with me being here. He was a monitor too. I don't think Amicus is in trouble. Cassius shakes his head. I don't trust anything he said. He was a demon. I sigh. What did they say to you? You look pretty scared. I was not scared. I let out an involuntary laugh before I could stop it. Damn you! I was simply unprepared for that experience. It was much more intense than the previous one I'd had. That's all. Cassius looks at the ground again, and I can see that the insides of his ears are burning red. I know that laughing at him was a crappy move on my part. I should be working to get him on my side to help Amicus. I make an effort to get my expression under control. Listen, I'm not against you, Cassius. Actually, I think we're working together here. I'm just trying to figure out how best to help your brother. Cassius continues to stare silently at the floor, although I see an ear twitch as if acknowledging what I just said. And if we're going to work together, we need to be at least a little bit honest with each other. Maybe I can help you figure some stuff out. I realize how hypocritical that is, especially considering that I'm hiding what the parents had just told me. Cassius lets out a skeptical huff. You? Help me? Yes. Cassius just seems to contemplate, then shakes his head. Well, nothing there could help us. They simply torment me when I try to communicate with them. Torment? They appear as demons and taunt me. It seems that the parents truly do want to cut off contact with us, which I'm fine with. Cassius says that last bit with a meek defiance, as I almost feel sorry for him. Maybe it was just a drug? I've heard plenty of stories of people freaking out in mid-altering stuff, especially if they have problems with anxiety. I do not have a weak mind, Marco. That doesn't mean you have a weak mind. Sometimes you just... Enough! I will not have you speculating on my mental capacities. Ugh. This time I'm the one sighing, wondering if the 100th time how the hell this whoop is Amicus' brother. So they didn't say anything to you? Cassius pauses, a frown tugging at the corners of his mouth. No. I raise an eyebrow at him. What? Of course they said things to me, but nothing useful. You sure? Of course I'm sure! The parents have turned on us. That's all I need to know. I think back on the conversation we had in the hallucination. The monitor had told us both that Cassius isn't the Emperor, and if Cassius had heard what I heard, then that's probably what he's thinking about right now. But I know that this isn't the time to challenge him, and I can tell that he's still trying to recover from the trip. Still, looking at him right now, staring at the ground, looking disheveled and defeated, I feel myself wanting to help him. Pity. Out of everyone on this moon, he seems to be the most stressed out, and I feel bad for him despite everything that's happened. But I know he doesn't want my pity right now. So I eventually leave Cassius alone on the bed and wander back out into the halls, feeling as if weeks had passed since I've last been out here. I think back to what the dragon-like creature had told me about how I'm here for a reason, and that this has all been planned out. Planned out by parents who seem to be completely frustrated at the behavior of the wolves and their inability to follow through on their plans. For a brief moment, I wonder how much more smoothly things would have gone if I'd been abducted by someone like Nephru and taken to somewhere like Chemia. But then, I wouldn't have met Amicus. Besides, it just seems like the wolves are giving the parents problems, not the other siblings. Which reminds me of the only bit of advice that the parents had given me. Watch the cat. Spy on Alexios. That's something I can that's something that I think I can do, if I'm careful. Despite the new level of scrutiny that I've fallen under, I've also been walking around the halls of the palace for the past few days without incidents. I may have come across Cato a few times, but for whatever reason, he's completely ignored me. All for the better. So I start to scour the palace for the cat. He's actually pretty hard to find when he's not looking for you. But I at least know he's usually in the gardens, if not the hallways watering the plants. So after eating a quick lunch, I decided to start my search in the gardens. I look back and forth through the foliage as I walk quietly on one of the various pathways. It's quiet, pleasant, and peaceful, but after everything that's happened, it has an ominous edge to it, like something could jump out at me at any moment. I do this for about a half an hour before I start to realize how fruitless the search might be. Alex would be hard to find even if he was out here, and besides, he could be all the way out in the city doing his ambassador work, whatever that is. Just as I'm about to give up, though, I hear something. Sniffling, gasping, and crying? I pause, listening. It's a bit difficult to hear through the slight rustling of leaves in the wind, but there's definitely someone out here, and it sounds upset. I can't really tell who it might be since it sounds like they're trying to keep quiet. That, and there's another sound too, another voice, and this one I recognize. Alex. It's a soft murmuring sound, like he's soothing someone, or probably the person who's crying. I wait there for a few moments, waiting to see if the sound fades or gets closer, which would tell me that they're moving, but it stays constant. So, convinced that they're sitting down, or at least standing in the same spot, I creep closer to where the sound is coming from. It's in a secluded part of the garden, coming from a small square that's surrounded by trees and bushes. I'm familiar with this square, the one with the statue of Drusius, where I've been laid out to die. I know that I can't use the little path that leads to the statue. I'd be seen for sure. So I'll walk up to the bushes that surround it and start looking for a break in the various branches and leaves. The sobbing sound continues, and I can hear Alex's voice more clearly now. I still can't quite tell exactly what he's saying, but I catch the occasional "don't worry" and "all is well." I can't imagine what's happening in there. I start to wonder if this is exactly what the parents I hope I will come across, and my heart starts to hammer my chest. Am I about to find something that's going to help me out the mess we're in? I finally find a thinner covering of foliage, and I'm able to see through. First, I see Alex, his back to me, crouched on the ground in front of the statue. He's draped over something. Someone, hugging them, his face pressed to the side of their head. I can only see their eyes and parts of their shoulder, but I can know right away that it's Cassius. Did Wait, what? Oh, okay. It's just teleported right to him. He got his head bowed deeply toward the ground, his paws to his face, shaken with his sobs. Alex hugs him tightly, whispering to his ear, clearly trying to comfort him. Cassius only responds with an occasional shake of his head before finally blurting out, "But am I a fraud?" His voice squeezed uncharacteristically on the last word, and Alex responds with a gentle shh before nuzzling the wolf's muzzle. I watch for a few moments before drawing back, feeling uncomfortable, knowing that this is a private moment between the two of them. I know now that this won't exactly help me in a way aside from making me feel even worse for Cassius. Still, I found Alex, so I move away, toward a bench that's further up the path, one that gives me a good view of the entrance to the square, and a distance that won't make me seem suspicious. A good 10 minutes pass before there's any movement. First, Cassius comes out, in the process of straightening out his armor, his expression blank as he stalks off the path away from me. I wait for a while. A good while. Maybe another 5 minutes, wondering if Alex somehow took a different exit from the square. But at that moment, I see him walk out, looking completely neutral as he looks around. I freeze up, positive he's about to see me, even though that will be okay, but instead walk straight ahead, toward the pond. I watch him go for a while, and then follow. It feels strange trying to spy on a pet ambassador like this, especially when I have no idea what I'm doing. But this is the only hint I was given to free Amicus, and this is the only way that I'm going to do it. I mean, he's already been suspicious from the beginning, so how does this feel weird? I find the cat at the pillars, already pulling away at the weeds. I sigh and wait, watch it for a while, realizing that this could last hours since Alex always seems to enjoy weeding for some reason. The cat is so meticulous about gardening here, and I have to wonder why, considering his efforts really wouldn't be all that visible in a garden this big. But I remind myself of why I'm here to settle down on another bench. One that's also a good distance away so I won't be seen too suspicious if he sees me. This time I sit there for a few hours, occasionally adjusting the way I'm seated as my ass gets sore from the stone bench. And as the sun sets, I realize how boring spying actually is. Around the second hour, the sun has completely set, and the bench is giving up and trying another day. At that moment, a drone suddenly dribs up to me, making me jump and dump my head down a little bit, as if that would help me hide from Alex. Never requests, "Shh!" I hiss at the drone, and Khan's voice automatically dips into a whisper, and goes on as if nothing had happened. Your location, and if you need his assistance. Of course, at that exact moment, I see Alex strolling up the path, though he doesn't move toward the palace. Instead, he starts walking up the path in my direction. I quickly stumble off the bench and into the bushes, praying that he doesn't see me as I hide myself amongst the leaves. The drone follows me, then pauses at the edge of the sidewalk. I remind that these things probably can't move off the grid of the pathways. Just through the leaves, I see the damn thing's lights on, stubbornly waiting for my answer. At the same time, I hear a soft scraping of Alex's sandals on the pathway as he moves closer. Damn it! It would have been better if I just stayed off the bench. Now this drone is going to reveal me to Alex while I'm hiding in the bushes like the most suspicious person in the palace. I see the green tips of the cat's ears poke above the bushes as he hums softly. I crouch lower in the foliage until I can't even see that. I will the cat to just ignore the drone, but the humming stops, and so do his footsteps, and I know that he spotted it. Do you have a stray drone out here, come? All drone machinery are accounted for, Alexios. What's this one doing? I fear my heart stop, swallowing hard. There's a pause, as if Calm is calculating something. That information is classified, Alex. By whom? Neferu. There's a pause, then a chuckle as Alex's footsteps pick up again, moving further away to my left. Oh, that shackle! I'm still holding my breath as I listen to the footsteps fade up the path before slowly rising from my crouch, glaring at the drone. Tell Neferu that I'm busy, but that I will be back tonight. I have some things to tell him. Message received. Thank you, Marco. Yeah, no problem. I say sarcastically as the drone floats off in its slow, lazy way. At this point, the sun has completely set, and I have to wonder why Alexios has headed in that particular direction, heading either toward the gates of the palace or the lake. I follow the path slowly, keeping my eyes peeled for the cat. At first, I'm almost positive that he would be headed for the gate, maybe on his way to the city. That would be the end of my little mission, since I know that I can't leave the boundary of the palace without being hurt somehow, probably killed. But instead, I spot the cat's form, just barely visible in front of the... Oh my god, I did it again. In front of the lake, its surface glinting from the light of the moon. I stop behind a tree, making sure that I'm not close to any of the lampposts. I watch as Alex moves around under the little gazebo with the water crabs under it. Sure enough, a few minutes later, he comes gliding out on the sightseer. He floats over the shore, then out onto the lake, in the direction of the island. I know right away that I'm seeing something important. There's nothing on the island for the cat to take care of, as far as I know, and unless he's going out there for a nighttime outing on the beach, extremely doubtful, then he's definitely doing something suspicious. I wait for a while, watching as the dark form of the cat and the crab get smaller and smaller until they basically disappear out in the direction of the island. Of course, I know I can't follow him out there right now, but I could definitely tell Neferu about it. Neferu is in his room when I arrive, typing away at what looks like a transparent tablet. It's an odd thing to see considering the non-existence of portable technology in this palace. Maybe it's a Chemian thing. As soon as he sees me, though, the display slides back into the small metal bar that had been projecting out as he turns to face me. Hello, Marco. You were gone for quite a while. Yeah. Care to share how you visit with Cassius and hopefully Amicus? It takes me a moment to remember exactly what he's talking about. After my little trip, everything that happened before us, it seems so distant. I try to tell Neferu as much as I remember involving Cassius before the parent thing, and he seems impressed. I suppose bringing Cassius to our side won't be as difficult as I had previously thought. It seems he has similar misgivings about Cato. Yeah, Amicus is doing okay. Just a bit depressed about everything that's happened, obviously. I pause then, which Neferu notices. Is there something else that happened? I take a deep breath, thinking how best to describe what I went through. Well, when I was coming back, there was this weird smell coming from the meditation room. Never raising an eyebrow, and I go on to explain how I ran into Cassius again, then everything that happened afterwards. When I finished, the jackal is quiet, just watching me with a narrow gaze. This is usually the look he gives me when he's thinking hard about something, so I give him some time to respond. When he does, it's hesitant and reserved, not usually something I hear from Neferu. So it was a drug-induced hallucination, yes? Well, I guess so, but I think it was real too. Like, Cassius was there, and he remembers seeing me with him. What's wrong? Well, that is a very primitive way to contact the parents. To put it bluntly, it does not work. It was a method used in the early days, during first contact between sibling and parent. They visited multiple times, and in between visits with some siblings, especially the wolves, would try to contact them via the psychotropic drug use. This could occasionally bring visions of higher beings, though they were not the parents, of course. Sibling and matching beings conjured up by a chemically imbalanced brain. This is likely what you experienced. To truly contact the parents, you must do through parental tech, complicated machinery that is able to transcend dimensions. It is usually only usable by a single person, such as the Emperor for the wolves or the Pharaoh for my people. Neferu stops talking at this point, allowing me to take all the information in. So maybe I had imagined it all, even if it had somehow seemed real. They had told me they had a plan for me and everything. Oftentimes, those drugs stroke the ego of the user. They make you feel as if you are the center of the universe, as if you were important. Not saying that you aren't. Have you tried it before? I've had brushes with such substances in my youth, good for experiencing the fragility of reality and how we perceive it, but little else. I see. Still, it sounds like you caught Cassius in a moment of vulnerability. He could trust you more because of it if you treated the situation delicately. Maybe. I think back on when I saw him crying in front of the statue, but I don't want to tell Neferu that, not really feeling it would be all that useful, or appropriate to share. But this reminds me of what else the parents had said to me. Well, they also told me something else. To watch Alex. Did they now? Yeah, and I did. He's been acting weird ever since I got here, so I spied on him today. So I spied on him today, and he sailed out to the island in the middle of the lake just now. Neferu got a strange knowing smile on his face. What? I just find it interesting that you had similar suspicions of Alex that I did. What do you mean? I've been studying the cat myself and noticed a few odd things as well, including his trips to the island. I frown. What? And you didn't tell me? Well, this rather desperate situation we're in only came about very recently, and I have very useful this information until now. Well, what do you think he's doing? Neferu shrugs. I don't know if I've not yet followed him to the island. You could imagine that I'm planning to now that we can use Alex on our side as well. Turn everyone against Cato? Yes. So if he's doing something bad, then we can use him as blackmail? Essentially, he is the closest person to Cassius and could possibly grant us access to classified information. I sigh, growing weary of all this backstabbing. If it's the only way to help Amicus, I guess. Oh, there are many ways. I have a last resort plan in place. I wait, but Neferu doesn't go on. Which is... Well, considering Amicus' birthright, he still has the ability to challenge whoever is on the throne. But... Really? All this time Amicus had just challenged Cassius again? Then I realized that Neferu was about to go on. But what? A fight to the death. Since the wolves love their violence, as though the Emperor would have to accept the challenge. The thought of that instantly makes me sick. No way. Again, last resort. I doubt Amicus would challenge his own brother, and I doubt Cassius would accept. At least at the moment. I can't even begin to contemplate a situation like that, and Neferu quickly changes the subject. Anyway, I should be off. I'd like to catch Alex in the act, and based on the previous observations I made, I've had another hour to do so. I blink in surprise. Right now? Shouldn't we wait until, tomorrow night? He only goes once a week. Considering how urgent our situation is, I should get this done now. Can I go too? Marco, remember what I said about needing to keep you safe? Yeah, and it's Alex. What's he gonna do? We should be prepared for anything. Well, I think it's better if we both go, in case something does happen and you need my help. Neferu lets out a soft sigh. Alright. I'm surprised at how quickly he gives in. I suppose you deserve to be treated as an equal in these plans we're making. Though if Amicus finds out I'm bringing you on these missions, he'll have my hide. I let him know I wanted to be a part of it. As if that will convince him. Anyway, let's be off. Okay. My excitement picks up. I get to my feet and follow Neferu out the door. If you run into anyone, especially Cato, we simply tell him we're out for an evening stroll. Understood? Yep. Despite the potentially dangerous situation we're going into, my mood is lifted knowing that we're finally moving again. That things are finally moving again. Okay. All right. We're going to end it here. Oh boy. That was that was a lot. Again, that was a lot. And I think it went a little further than my usual recordings, which I don't mind in the slightest. Though, I had a pretty nice time with this. Interesting, another out of body experience, and one that we actually remember doing. We got to see a little bit more of a vulnerable side to Cassius. Actually, talk to him as an intelligent being, and seeing that P2 doesn't really is not on Cato's side, and Cato is still technically running things, is so that he's still afraid of him. And now, of course, we're going to spy on Alexios, which again I keep saying, do not trust the cat. We do not trust the cat for very obvious reasons. And so we're hopefully in next part we're going to find out what he's up to. And so thank you all so much for watching. If you like what you saw, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, share with your friends, share with your family, subscribe to my channel, check out the other content I've done, and tune in next time when we continue with the world of Adastra. And so, this is MasterGuil, and I'll see you all next time.